I leave money on the table when I feel like that's the right thing to do. And I feel like that's being a good leader. Being a good leader in society, being civically active and participating in the good fight.
Welcome to Lonely at the Top, a podcast for high-level leaders carrying the invisible weight of the world, because you know the higher you rise, the fewer people you have to safely talk to. Here we welcome founders, executives, and decision makers who feel the isolation and pressure that comes with power. Lonely at the Top is your sanctuary in the storm, and I'm your host, soul medic and former psychotherapist Rachel Alexandria. Today, we have Ginger Hitzke. I'm so excited for this interview. I've been looking forward to it. She is the president of Hitzke Development Corporation, a first-generation real estate developer with 30 years of experience in the field of affordable housing development. Ginger specializes in the construction of new apartments. She's built 500 apartments for her personal portfolio and has developed more than 2,000 apartments total. That is homing a lot of people who need it, Ginger.
Yeah.
She has, by her own words, been on a lot of boards, including, just to name a few, a founding board member for Inclusive Action for the City, based in Los Angeles, Boys and Girls Club of San Marcos, and she's currently on the board of Honor Pack. We are so lucky to have you on the podcast today, Ginger. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for asking me. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here.
So we've known each other for, I want to say, is it 4 years, 5 years?
5 years since early in the pandemic.
In the pandemic. That's the only time I've heard that referred to cutely. Early in the pandemic. And we met because of Hera Hub.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is, for folks who don't know, it's started in San Diego. It's a co-working and networking space predominantly for female business founders. Mm-hmm. And we met on a Zoom call.
I remember it very well. Yeah. And I didn't know, I mistook what the group was. And I thought it was one of those days when we were supposed to work together. And I was sitting there listening to you and this other woman talk. And I'm like, God, when are they going to shut up? When do we start working? Yeah. And then the way that you introduced what you did is you said, I help high performers with the secret messes in their life. And I was like, your job is to help me specifically? That's it? And I signed up, boom, boom, boom. And we just went at it, went to it. It was good. Good times.
To it. Yeah. Ginger became, don't tell any of my other clients that Ginger's been my favorite client.
Always tell me that, even if it's just lie to me. I want to hear it.
Always and forever. I think I sent you an award.
Oh, you did? Yes. Yeah. Yes, you did.
Yes. Yeah. We've known each other a little while, so the conversation may get...
this should be good. This should be a good...
interesting.
Yes, it's okay to go there.
Ginger is not that private of a person, which is one of the things I love about you, because I think I'm similar. When you feel or think things, you just out and say it. We are both Enneagram 8s. We haven't really talked about the Enneagram at all on this show, but for folks who know the Enneagram, we are the same Enneagram type, which is...
the best type. The 8s are the best. I think I heard Amy Poehler say she's an 8, and I was like,
yeah,
that's right.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The type 8 is the boss, the dominator, the master, is some of the ways that can be regarded. So it's a type that likes power and likes being in control, and you can do really good things with it, like Ginger does, and has some struggle with vulnerability and surrender. So
boop, right there, right on the nose.
She's like, I don't even want to say the word.
Yep.
Well, you've known me for a while. When you heard that I was launching this podcast and I wanted you to be on it, Lonely at the Top, what did that bring up for you?
Well, it made perfect sense, given the type of people that you work with. I'm guessing, I don't know any of your other clients actually, but I'm guessing.
Maybe you do.
Maybe I do.
Would never know.
I would never know. Yeah. So, I had to imagine everyone that you work with is pretty driven and pretty straightforward. And is interested in being honest with themselves because that's the only way that you could be working with you. There's no BS going on here.
No.
And but that are that are sensitive and that are kind of a mess in some way. So very accomplished messes is probably I'm guessing. I'm just guessing.
But when you think about being lonely at the top, is that
Oh,
something that resonates for you?
yeah, for sure. I mean, it never ends. It never ends within your own organization. I mean, the nice thing is there's lots of people who are the heads of their own organizations, and so you can commiserate with them pretty easily. It's a pretty easy way to bond, I would say,
Mm.
because most people who are being honest with themselves and honest with others can talk about what a challenge it is, just what a personal challenge it is. Yeah.
So you find, because this isn't always the case, I think it depends on industry, but it may also be your openness and who you attract.
Hmm.
You find that you can easily commiserate with other people who run organizations. Do you think that's a
Yeah.
nonprofit thing more
No,
or?
no, because I'm not a nonprofit. That is something that
Okay.
I think people mistake a lot. What
Okay.
I do for a living because the type of housing that I build is affordable. And the reality is that's just the type of money that I know how to use. That's my capital stack that I understand. But some of my two of my closest friends, actually all of my friends own their own businesses. I don't even know who I hang out with that doesn't at this point in my life. But I would say that my two male friends who I started in business with around the same time was at the time my architect and business partner, and then my civil engineer. And it's just hard. It's hard. Payroll is an issue when you're like starting, and it's so challenging and it's so exhausting. And then it's employee issues and like other human beings and them having free will. Like, what's up with that? And and then being really concerned about sort of like slowing down, taking it a little more easy as you are older and more established in your company. I've had my company for 17 or 18 years, and like
Mm.
I don't have to work as hard anymore, and that's a struggle, right? Because then I'm worried. I always have this fear I'm gonna like end up in the gutter, which is ridiculous. That makes no sense, but
Yeah.
um, yeah.
I think it tracks for everyone who came from poverty. And
Mm,
interestingly, a lot of my clients have that story where they're in a CEO suite, but they came from food stamps.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's a trauma-based fear. Poverty is a trauma. So it's always a back of mind driver that everyone that I know who has that story has to continue to
So we
work
should
on.
probably give some context to that because I don't think that was introduced. That was in the bio, but that's one of those things that's it's at the very end of the bio. If anybody ever bothers to go all the way down to the end of the bio,
Ginger had a very long bio.
it's
For
two
context,
pages.
Ginger had a 2-page bio, and she's like, "Don't read this," and I'm like, "Don't worry, I'm not." Everyone would turn off the podcast, so we constructed a short bio. Is
Yeah.
that okay that I share
Oh,
that?
yeah, totally. No,
Okay.
because I think it's actually a perfect segue to talk about what makes being a CEO type person, which I don't have that title. My title is president. I really just am starting to think I want to change it to boss lady, but because I deal with the government a lot, I think it'll upset certain people that need things to be very tidy. Um, but, but yeah, so I grew up a single mom, and she had me and my sister, and we grew up in apartments all the time in the Midwest in the suburbs of Chicago. And we moved out to California a little bit later when I was a teenager. But just housing, oh my God, housing affordability, housing consistency, like
Reliability.
reliability. Yeah, insecurity, that's the word. Housing
Oh, okay.
insecurity, always an issue. We were always moving. I was always going to different schools. I knew that it was really stressful for my mom to like pay rent. It
Hmm.
was just something that I can remember probably since I was in junior high. I really understood it. So that makes my job really interesting. Like I said, I do affordable housing because it's the thing that I know how to do. I started working as a receptionist for a developer as a temp when I was 19, and then I actually went to go work for him when I was like 21, I think,
Mm.
full time. And so I've just been in this industry. The company that I worked for was an affordable housing development company, and just did that until I started my own company. And so it's what I know how to do. And when I first started my company, I started just purely out of survival. Just I need to not lose my house, and I need to not lose my
Mm-hmm.
car, and I need to not be homeless, and I need to,
Mm.
just really just like basic survival mode. But as I have been in this business more, I really remember how much I didn't like moving and having to start over. So I remember that as a child. So that's one thing that's really important to me, is that people can have that consistency in where they live. But then I also remember when I started renting my own apartment that getting a $20, $25 rent increase was like a nightmare. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when you're already living paycheck to paycheck is barely even, describing it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, having $25 more was really challenging. So that's another thing that I really struggle with. It's a real struggle with going through that and having to, at the end of the day, be the person. The buck totally stops here because I'm the individual person that decides what the rent increases are going to be for every single one of my residents. I do it every
Yeah.
year, and it's like
And
I
you
hate it.
know, yeah. Yeah, and they don't know the emotional turmoil
No,
that puts you through.
no,
And it wouldn't really help if they did, probably, because it
mm-mm,
doesn't matter to
no,
their budget
mm-mm.
that you feel bad about it.
Yeah, no. I will. So I will say, recently we had a little bit of a so I'm a renter advocate, right? So I go and speak on behalf of uh, renters and rent increases. So landlords and apartment association tend to really hate me in California because I come out as a for-profit property owner with a significant portfolio, and I'm like, we need to stop this. We have to have some kind of controls. We need some kind of we need to
When you
level the
say
playing
stop
field.
this, can you specify when you say we need to stop?
Sure, just having no rent caps in California.
Got
So
it.
that was a big problem in
Mm.
California. It's still an issue, but it's much better than it was before. So I'm a renter advocate and support individuals and support organizations that work on this and do my part, and then I have my own struggle that I go through with my own apartments and sort of trying to deal with taking people's income into consideration when going through and doing rent increases every year, contemplating whether or not there will be one, right? And a group of people got together with an attorney that specializes in helping renters to come and have an issue with me.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was like, wow, okay, no good deed goes unpunished, does it? And that was really tough because I was pissed.
Mm.
I was like, is this a swearing podcast? Are we allowed to
Oh,
use
do whatever you want.
Okay. I was like, "Do you know who the fuck I am? Like, are you fucking kidding me? You want to come after me, someone who toils over whether or not a $10 increase is something that's appropriate? Like, you're seriously telling me there aren't bigger fish out there?" So,
Mm.
but at the same time, as much as it pissed me off in the moment, I totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it because the folks that I rent to, they really are on the lowest income scale, and
Their
those
money
kind of
doesn't go up just because costs go up, right?
exactly. But also, can you imagine what insurance rates are in California for housing these
I
days?
have
Like
absolutely no
it,
idea.
we do
Yes.
fires real good in California,
Mm-hmm.
and they tend to devastate homes, and so insurance
Mm-hmm.
prices are like triple. We deal with a lot of we
And you
deal
can
with
only eat so many costs. You have to,
correct.
at the end of the day, not be
Yeah.
losing money all the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I also have to have money when things go wrong.
Yeah.
Like when an elevator breaks and it costs me $25,000, I got to have $25,000 on hand to do
Mm-hmm.
something about it. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
just it really isn't just operating costs and profit. It's also like we got to be ready.
Emergency money, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. There's so many times I wish I could be insensitive and not care. It'd be very convenient.
How do you deal with that? You're somebody who has to make decisions
Hmm.
regularly that
Yes.
affect hundreds of people where they live.
Hmm.
And you might feel internal conflict about it. There's what you have to do for the dollars and cents, and there's what you wish you could do from the heart. And sometimes I'm sure one wins and sometimes the other wins. How do you deal with that stress? Where do you take that? Because you can't talk to them.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Nobody? I don't know. I don't, yeah. I mean, not,
You just sit on it. It just sits within you and you just go, it is what it is.
it is what it is. And it comes and goes, right? So it's a thing I have to go through once a year. And it's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's very top of mind for me.
Mm.
I mean, somebody's got to do it. I will say I do take comfort in the fact that I know I'm doing my best. I know that I'm doing my best. I know that um, I'm being responsible, right? I'm being compassionate, but I'm being responsible. And the reality is, whether or not somebody was renting in my building or not, a place that people live, a building is alive, and buildings age, components age, things break. People are still much better off living under my roof. I'm going to take care of it the best that I can. I'm probably going to take care of it better than they would.
Mm-hmm.
So it's,
I
yeah,
get that. I get that. My housemate used to joke with me because whenever I would rail against the injustice in the world or something going wrong, she'd say, "Well, obviously Rachie should do it." I'd be like, "Yes, I would
you
be
should be in
good at
charge
that."
of all of the things. I would be a very good benevolent overlord. I really would. If anybody ever needs it, I'm here.
This is the type 8 mindset on some
Yeah.
level. Yeah, internally. I totally understand what you're saying. And I don't know if all leaders will resonate with it, but probably some will. Will say,
Some.
sure, it is an emotional burden, but better I do it than anyone else. There's people who, if there's a scary road to drive, they'd rather someone else did it. And there's people who would rather be
Mm,
behind the wheel.
yeah. Yeah. Literally. I'm good. I'm a good off-road driver too.
So it feels like we kind of talked about what a leadership season was that tested you in that this is a regularly occurring thing. And then this thing with some of your renters getting a lawyer. Is there anything more you want to share about that experience? How you dealt with it?
Let's see. I threw a fit. And then we held a resident meeting about it. And because I feel like a lot of times it's easy to be angry at someone if you don't know them. Like, the man, I'm the man. And so we did that, and then we just went through and wrapped it up. Some things got done, some people got what they wanted, and some people didn't, and that's it. We'll see what happens.
What I remember about you is that every time there is something that tests you, because I think that's a thing I've seen you experience regularly. Every year, there's something business wise that tests you.
Yeah, yeah,
You throw yourself into solving the problem. Like maybe it's
yeah.
a boundaries issue with someone renting one of your spaces, or maybe it's your employees creating more team cohesiveness. Whenever something comes up where there's an issue, how do you think about it? How do you go about working the problem?
Mm. Well, I'm really starting to feel like this is an infomercial for you, Rachel, because I because no, I know. I just it's the truth though. That's what's so funny. I would say nowadays I call you. I schedule a magic session and we'll talk through kind of what the issue is, whether it's personal or business. And I actually find that to be very, very helpful. I do talk to friends who are in business and who have their own companies, depending on what the situation is and whether or not it's applicable to where they are in their business journey. Certainly, some friends will have more feedback for me on employee related issues, versus
Mm-hmm.
consult issues or cash flow issues are the biggest thing that I've dealt with in business over time. And that's, I mean, it really just weighs on me, or it has. I'm good now. I'm great now. But
Woo!
yeah, like thank God, right? We never want that to end. Um,
Mm,
but it takes a long time. It takes like 10, 12
mm,
years to kind of
mm,
get into a really good groove and where you understand how to generate your revenue, how to keep it stable, how to keep expenses stable, and all of that stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
that is something that's definitely taken me there and has weighed on me. It's also one of the very first things that I talk to people about who are newer business owners is to be like, oh, cash flow, huh? And because it's like, you're really not supposed to talk about that. You're not supposed to talk about how business is hard because somehow like kind of repulses people. You got to really walk a fine line when you talk about your business, I think.
I try to dissuade people anymore from starting a business because if you don't have grit, you're
Yeah.
not going to work it out. You're just not.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
when people say, "Oh, I'm thinking about starting a business and blah," and I'm like, "Okay, here's the things you're going to need, and don't quit your side hustle. It's going to take you 3 to 5 years before you're making any kind of sustainable money,
Okay.
unless you have a bunch of money you're investing from somewhere,
Yeah.
or famous connections, or something that gets you past initial hurdles."
Yeah.
So I hear you.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting because I think it just depends on the person that I'm talking to.
Hmm.
It's sort of funny. If I do talk to somebody who wants to stay comfortable, right?
Mm,
And a lot of times they do this where they're in my industry already and they have a senior project manager or vice president type job and they want to take the leap. I'm definitely like, go for broke. Be ready to lose everything. That's the only way that you could do it. And if they're like, oh, I was thinking of doing this on the side, and I'm like, then no, then don't. Then you don't know. Like,
no.
you cannot do brain surgery on the side, and this
Mm-mm.
business is tough. It is so difficult. It's so much more complicated than people realize. People think, oh, anybody can do it. I hear from people all the time. Oh, I want to do that. Oh, do you? Okay, good for you. Do you want to be a cardiologist too? You want to do that at the same time? It's just super easy line of work. But if they do really seem like they can do it, I will totally encourage. You will
Hmm.
not fail yourself. You won't. If you're trying to go in and you're too cushy, I definitely discourage immediately. But if someone does like feel, I guess that is what you said because you said if they have the grit, like if they're scrappy, I'm
If
like
you're
you won't
scrappy.
you won't
Mm-hmm.
fail yourself. Put
Mm-hmm.
put yourself in that situation of where you are about to lose everything and you won't fail yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
will figure out a way to scrap your way out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's just a certain quality, and I'm not sure it can be taught. It's just a person's nature. If you're
Yeah.
scrappy, then yeah, it's actually been a theme that's come up in a couple other interviews,
Yeah.
that when failure is not an option and you have to figure out a way to do it.
Yeah.
And that may be why a lot of the founders I've talked to and that I've worked with, that their background is that they came from nothing because they know the pain of nothing,
Mhm.
and they will do anything they possibly
Mhm.
can within their ethical ability
Mhm.
to not go back there, to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. I will tell
Yeah.
you, it does boggle my mind sometimes people who don't come from a challenging background, like a low income background or something like that. I don't understand how they do it. I don't.
You don't
I
understand why they're scrappy?
no, they're not. Because they're
Oh.
not. I don't understand how they can be in charge of things and be any good at it. I really don't.
Some
Yeah.
people may have been shown management from an early age because it ran in the family, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some people have the benefit of relationships that will float them with money
Yeah.
if something doesn't work out, you
Oh my
know?
God. That scares me even more. Like that, because I think that makes you soft. It does. It'll make you
So,
lazy.
something that I heard when you said a moment ago, when you were saying what you do when you're faced with one of these big challenges, is you get pissed, you throw a fit,
I do.
and then you
I do very
and then you
regularly.
yeah, not usually at the person, I would assume, usually kind of on your, maybe sometimes, but
Maybe a little,
sometimes
maybe
no.
a little bit of both. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Then you talk to someone like me, but you also mention your friends quite a lot, and I think
Mhm.
that is something that makes you stand out, that you have really invested in your relationships while still building a family. You have two grown kids and a spouse, and
And a grandbaby.
And grandbaby,
Yeah.
yes. And you've supported extended family, you've run this business, and you still maintain really strong friendships.
Yeah.
I think some people are going to be like, how do you do that? How do you do all three of those things?
Oh, and have been extremely civically actively involved. So I
Yeah,
think I do
how
everything
are you doing that?
somewhat. Oh, I think I do everything somewhat poorly. I think that's. I mean, I will say I do look back. I'm 50 now, and I do think of when I was in my 30s and starting this business and being everywhere. Because let's see, I started in '07, so the iPhone was still pretty new. We didn't have Wi-Fi everywhere, right? You couldn't do your whole entire company on this thing right here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I had to physically be places. And I was all over the place in Southern California. And for anybody who listens, that like knows I'm based in Temecula. Most of my work is in San Diego, but I was doing things in Los Angeles, and I was just everywhere. And I truly do not know anymore how I did it because when I have one meeting in a day now, when I have to leave somewhere, I'm like, oh, that's it. That's all that's getting done this entire. But yeah, I do
Yeah.
think that I think I just did things pretty sloppy, just kind
Mm.
of just as good as it could be. That's all I could do because yeah, I have definitely maintained some really very quality friendships over
Mm-hmm.
time that are very deep and meaningful. Yeah.
I think that's good advice, really. Perfect is the enemy of done. Whenever,
Ooh.
right? I mean, I didn't come up with that, but whenever people are overly focused on their next blog post and polishing and polishing and polishing, it's just like, man, just publish.
Yeah.
Just publish more, publish faster,
Yeah.
put your stuff out, reach out, make those connections.
Yeah.
I
Because
think I
rarely are people going to remember.
Yeah,
And,
no.
and like whatever they remember, like they were meant to. It was going to be
Mhm.
special no matter how much polish you put on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your balance sheet of burdens since we're kind of talking about how do you fit this all in? How do you do it? We open the private ledger here on the podcast. So I
Okay.
would love to hear one cost that you've paid for being in leadership.
Well, I think actual cost, because balance sheet, I'm like, well, that is a real thing in my life, right? I borrow
Mhm.
money.
Mhm.
A big part of what I have to do is borrow private money, and it's very challenging, right? Like my last project that I finished, I think the total development cost was $32 million
Oof.
for, yeah, a 43 unit apartment complex.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty big. And my construction loan was $28 million, which is massive, which is crazy.
Mm.
And so talking about balance sheet is a real topic for me.
Mhm.
And because I have really always I strive to have money. I have money. I want to live a nice life. I want to have experiences that are good and luxurious. I want to make sure that we're very safe
Mhm.
financially, but I have definitely traded actual money for all kinds of things that I am passionate about or that I care about or that I feel is the right thing to do. I give away a lot of money
Mhm.
and I leave money on the table when I feel like that's the right thing to do. And I feel like that's being a good leader in society, being civically active and participating in the good fight. So I think my life could be easier if I was more selfish, hoarded money, and
Mhm.
had a fatter balance sheet. I think that would make me more open to being able to do even more work and make even more money. But it's like, it's not my jam. I'm good. I got enough money.
What I hear you saying, and I think you said it well, but just to recap, is that the cost that you feel like you pay for being in leadership is actually making less money in a way because you believe in doing it ethically and being of service.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just had a job where you weren't in charge, you would
Hmm.
just collect whatever money they paid you and roll
Yeah.
in it like a
Yeah.
dragon.
Yeah. It's very Lord of the Rings of you. It's very The Hobbit.
Whenever I think about people just making more money for the sake of more money and it
Mhm.
just becomes more and more and more, I think about dragons. It's the
Mm.
metaphor, hoarding wealth instead
Mm.
of using wealth to be of good service.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us one invisible asset that you didn't used to know that you had.
My unearned self-confidence.
Yeah.
Great, because you've got your earned confidence, the things that you do. I get, I'm very sassy when it comes to what I do for a living. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very proud of it, and I know how good I am at it. But it's very earned, right? But
Mm-hmm.
whatever this level of unearned self-confidence that I have, and it's really only something that I've started to be in touch with in the last couple of years when I named it. Um, it's a huge asset. I'm so grateful for it because there's nothing I can do about it. Like,
I get it.
yeah, yeah, I like it. It's my friend.
Hashtag type 8.
Is that it?
Yeah, absolutely. I had to learn as a type 8, people would ask me something or I'd say something. Even when I didn't know, they'd be like, "Oh, what's happening over there?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I think it's blah, blah, blah." And then I'd hear them repeat it somewhere. I'm like, "No, actually, I don't
You're like,
know.
I don't
Why do
know.
you,
Don't
why?"
listen to me.
I've had to learn to be very explicit when I
Yeah,
do know something versus
yeah.
when I don't know because the confidence energy that I just innately have
Mhm.
will communicate that it is fact.
Mhm.
I have a picture of myself as a baby in a rocking chair, and the way I'm sitting there, like yeah,
That's so
it's,
funny.
I'm like that's so type 8.
Oh my
There's
gosh.
just there's just a way that we come into this world like this. We're like, I can go do a thing. I just know I can make it work.
Yes, I do think that I can basically do anything. Like if I don't, it's just because I'm just not caring to try. Yeah.
And sometimes physically, I try to do things and I'm like, oh, I actually can't do that. Whoops. Yeah, I absolutely agree. It is an asset, and I can understand how it used to be invisible to you. So
Yeah.
tell us one investment you're making now for your mental well being or your soul.
Well, I'm actively doing soft girl summer. I'm just really trying to like do the bare minimum right now.
Mm,
And so I've been doing this since the beginning of July. I'm going through the end of August. We're almost here.
mm,
And it's been helpful because I'm realizing emails and people connecting with me is way out of control. And
mm,
that's a big issue with me right now. And I guess that's one of those sort of things that, being accessible has felt like a very good deed and a good service to people, but I think that season is over and I need
mm,
to be less accessible even to people who have enjoyed, access to me without a
mm,
problem.
mm-hmm,
It's like, oh boy, you're gonna have a surprise because I'm gonna become less accessible. And I just think that's very important for me to be able to do that in order to grow because I do want to move into doing some new things, and it's gone well. And I would say for anybody who holds on tightly to things that have served them in the past and being accessible to people, being very, very well known and very well liked, it's served me well. But it's
mm-hmm,
time to change that and to be a little
mm.
less accessible, to
Yeah,
be able to
good
do the
for
things that
you.
I want to do. Yeah.
I love that. It's a great answer and probably good advice for folks listening. So, what do you wish more leaders felt permission to say out loud?
I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know right now. I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
think that is the like I just don't know.
You wish.
I wish people would just be like, I don't know. I think it's okay. I wish it was said more in like in a political context, you know? I feel like people who are in leadership positions who are in all areas of government, whether they are elected or not elected, they're employed by a government agency. I wish people would just say, I don't know more often. I think that's more real than
Mm-hmm.
what we have going on right now. And I think it's creating a real problem in our society. Everybody just has to be right, or
Mm.
just like know what they're talking about. It's like We don't, what? How could we possibly? No. I think that's the first thing that comes to mind. And I think it's totally fine to say when you're a leader, oh, I'm really going to be taken down by one I don't know. No, I think that's okay.
Nice. Yeah, I like when people say I don't know, but let's figure it out together.
Okay.
Right. We don't want I don't know to be the end of the sentence.
Correct. Yes. But again, you could have a pause. You could pause. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, good one. Well, before I get to the last question, is there anything you want to tell people about? Is there anything that you want to shed spotlight on, or direct attention to that you think is important? You are currently on the board for
Honor pack.
something. Is that
Yeah.
something?
I mean, if you are interested in supporting LGBTQ Latino elected officials in California, check out Honor Pack. I believe we are honorpack.org. Yeah.
Great. We will put it in the show notes. I love
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's the nice thing about leadership, right? It doesn't have to be all about us. It's like where do I want to direct the attention that's currently focused on me?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Okay.
true.
Nice. All right, last question. We're about to open the time machine
Okay.
and you get to step back in time. What would you say to an earlier version of yourself in your career?
Okay. This is when I was really feeling myself, right? I had just had some big accomplishments. So, like I said, I had started as a receptionist, and then I was a project coordinator, project manager, senior project manager, and then vice president of development. And then I started my own company. So, back when I was a project manager, I was like 26 years old, and I was, oh my God, I really thought I was something. And I definitely would have sat myself down and said, look, you are very smart and you are very, very good at this, but we need you to learn diplomacy here. I think that would have helped a lot with a lot of things early on. And I don't know that it would have necessarily advanced my career more because I was pretty good about pushing through no matter what. But I would like to talk to that young lady and let her know how important that is with
Mm-hmm.
people because I fell on my face a bunch of times. Uh, got my ass handed to me. Which I guess was the universe's way of doing that. And then when I started my company, oh man, that was rough. I definitely think that I would have shown her who I am now, right now, and been like, you're going to go through whatever you're going to go through, but this is where you're going to get. You're going to get here, and it's going to be good. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your wisdom and your stories and your laughter. It's been a pleasure to have you, Ginger.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to listen. I'm so excited.
Thanks for listening to Lonely at the Top. If today's conversation resonated, I hope you'll give yourself permission to pause even for a moment and check in with what you might be carrying. You don't have to hold it all alone. You don't have to keep doing this without real support. As we talked about in the podcast, I work with leaders who want to clean up their secret messes, and you can find out more about me at rachelalexandria.com. If you know another leader who needs to hear this podcast, please send it their way. Because, yeah, it's lonely at the top, but it doesn't have to stay that way.